What is cooking today in the wide-eyed way? It is seed biscuits. I'm Natasha Hodge. I'm helping you to eat healthily but also look after the pennies. So when I talk to you about nutrition, we're also talking about the costs to cook it, to prepare it, and obviously to buy the ingredients. So you know, I don't often talk about sweet foods. I don't really go in for a lot of crowd-pleasing desserts and things like that. I gave up sugar in 2012 and it literally changed my life. And that's part of why I do what I do, because I was absolutely a sweetaholic. When we talk about sugar, sugar is basically what makes us put on weight. That's what is stored in our body as fat. So lots of people have this misconception that fat causes fat, but it doesn't. What happens is our body just doesn't know what to do with it. And what we've done over, thousands of years is refine things that create like a sort of mainline effect for those sugars we weren't designed to eat. And so our bodies go, what? I don't know, what am I supposed to do with this? I know, I'm going to store this energy as fat. And that's what we've been doing for the last 50 years, because we've been avoiding fat but not avoiding sugar. We've been getting bigger and bigger. So back to me still liking sweet foods, but I don't tend to eat them very much because they have a knock-on effect of creating more cravings. They also create, obviously, an environment where my body then doesn't have its sort of energy levels balanced, because you're having this sugar high and then a crash. So what I did in 2012 was go over to glucose-based sweeteners. Now, glucose is 100% carbohydrate, but it doesn't contain the fructose element, which is very addictive. So that's fructose is fruit sugar. But it also just gives me a little bit of sweetness. And if you mix it in the right amounts with other foods, and you're not having it purely as that glucose, then you find that the effect isn't as bad. Now, in this particular biscuit recipe, the protein and fibre in the seeds actually evens out the impact of the glucose. So enough of a lesson, let's get on with actually making them. It's super easy. It's going to be 20 minutes in the oven, and after this you're going to be able to break it up and use it like a granola. So instead of eating evil to the core cereals, you'll have a cereal type of seed biscuit that you can just break up and put in with Jersey milk. Jersey milk being the best type of milk. Okay, so I've got my bowl on top of my scales. I'm just going to zero the scales. I'm going to put 100 grams of pumpkin seeds. Basically, you're making up the whole amount to 300 grams. So that's 100 grams of that. 100 grams of sunflower seeds. Eat sunflower seeds as they are. Do not eat sunflower oil. So there's 100 grams of those going in. Actually, I'm running low on desiccated coconuts. I'm going to see how much I've got of that. Normally you'd put in 60 grams. I'm going to see what I've got. I've only got 46 grams of that. So I'm going to make up the rest up to the 300 grams with sesame seeds. This is great for kids as well. Brings down their sweet tooth. You know they're getting loads of energy from the protein and fat in the actual seeds themselves, and that impact of that glucose isn't going to be quite as bad. Right, so I'm going to put a teaspoon of vanilla extract in there. I'm going to put a little bit of sea salt in there as well, because that will bring out the flavours. And salt is a fantastic addition to any dish. And then I'm going to use this, which is Biona Organic Rice Malt Syrup. So it's been made from rice. This is 100% carbohydrate. So this is not low carb. I'm going to do another recipe which is going to use erythritol in a granola, but we'll come back to that another day. So I'm using this, and as I say, because of the nutrition levels in this, it brings down the impact when you eat it. So I won't get this high because my body will be using all the different, it's taking markers from food. Okay, so how you eat food, when you eat food, and why you eat food is all going to impact on your nutrition levels. And I've specialised in diabetes, and in an experiment in the past we had a type 1 diabetic, and she was monitoring her glucose levels, and this just didn't impact it. So it was a really good experiment to see how this just doesn't impact the same as if you had, I don't know, a bowl of really sugary cereal. And don't forget, most cereals have added sugar in them. Even, you know, your bran flakes and all that sort of stuff, that will still have loads of sugar. So I'm going to put a fair bit of this in here. Recipe on the website called Seed Biscuits. That's in there. I'm going to give it a mix. And that is super easy, isn't it? And then, as I say, it goes into the oven on 170 fan for 20 minutes. And then you're going to, as you take it out the oven, just mark it into squares so that it breaks up better. Take it off the baking tray as soon as possible and pop it on a wire rack. Just going to turn that off. You can see that's all well incorporated. When you buy a bag of low carb granola, we're looking at, I looked it up on the internet, it's about £9 a bag for about 300 grams. So this is going to make about 500 grams, and this is going to cost you, including the oven cost, £4.71. So no, it's not cheap, but again, you're investing in your nutrition and your health. So, you know, you could say to yourself, all right, I'm just going to have it a couple of times a week, because it will keep really well in an airtight container. And you don't need loads of it, especially if you're having full fat milk, because that will fill you up as well. So literally just spreading that out, and spread it fairly thin because you want it to be crispy. And the paper I've put this on, don't use greaseproof. If you use greaseproof, whoa, you'll never get it off. So it's going to have to be baking paper, and or you could use one of those silicone baking sheets. They're reusable and better for the planet. I just haven't got any of those at the moment. When I moved, I put them somewhere, and I've never found them since, so that's good. So most of the supermarkets do a version of this baking paper. But as I say, just, you know, I've had clients in the past using grease proof and it's just like glued itself and then you're eating the paper at the same time. So, spreading it out as far as I possibly can. I will post a picture of it once it's cooked. Just watch it while you're baking it because everybody's ovens are different and what you don't want is it suddenly being burnt and you've wasted a whole lot. So you want it sort of golden brown. If it's undercooked it'll be chewy, which actually still tastes nice. It's a little bit tougher on the teeth. Okay, that's it. Nicely spread. Won't take long. And you can muck about with the sort of ratios as well. You could you can pop some raw peanuts in there or almonds or stuff like that. This is obviously a nut-free version. And then that's going to go into the oven. So that is it for today. I would love it if you could comment below if you try any of the recipes. And again, if there's anything you need to know about sugar or stuff like that, you let me know. I want you nourished. I want you tip-top and the best you possibly can be and getting the best from your body. I'm Natasha Hodge. I'm hoping you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, share it, let other people know. Treat yourselves to a bigger slice of life and of course, I will see you tomorrow. Take care.